afternoon, everybody. Mr. Sell here, and I am here to announce some TVECs. It's a special announcement. I know it's a little unusual in the afternoon, but I wanted to make sure to do this because I didn't get a chance to earlier this week. So I'm going to get right into the TVECs. Actually, no, I'm not. First, what I'm going to do is give a plug on Friday. We have Race for Education. Looks like it's going to be an absolutely beautiful day. A little bit cool, probably in the 50s, 60s, maybe 60s. So make sure that you wear some layers because once you can start running, you might get hot. So you can take a layer off, like a sweatshirt or something like that. Remember, on Friday to bring water bottles. Remember to wear your sneakers. We're going to have an absolute blast. It's one of my favorite things of the year. We're going to earn and raise money for our school. At the same time, we're going to work hard, get some exercise, and have some fun while doing it. So, Race for Education is on Friday, and I'll be out with the classrooms and running. Well, most likely I'll be walking, but I'll be there hanging out with you guys as well. All right, now to get back into the TVECs. All right, we have from Mrs. Trofo, we have Julia Elise. Julia consistently works hard and tries her best in class. She's always on task. She's focused, amazing role model for her and her classmates. There you go, Julia. Now you and your sister both have TVECs for the year. Ben Ballier, Mrs. Trofo's class. Ben is doing a great job of staying focused, making good choices, works hard at staying on task, getting his classwork completed. So that is a TVEC for you, Ben. Sydney Tennant from Mrs. Davies, and Sydney's in Sanger's homeroom. So milk was spilled on the cafeteria floor without asking her to help. Sydney got paper towels, helped clean up the spill. That is absolutely awesome. That is following Raider Pride because when you do something without being asked, just do the right thing. That makes all the difference in our school, in our community, and in the world. So great job, Sydney. That's a TVEC for you. Ryan Passer from Mrs. Sanger's class. Ryan is always appreciative of things they do in the classroom. He's very quick to say thank you. Politeness is one of the Wolfpack traits, and Ryan has set a great example of this. So Ryan Passer, TVEC to you. Congratulations. Joelle Neves in Mrs. Gruen's class. Joelle showed kindness as he held the door for our class, then patiently waited for Mrs. Cresswell's class so they could safely enter the building too. So Joelle, I'm very proud of you. That's an awesome job, being polite, holding the door, and just being respectful in general. So Joelle, that's a TVEC for you. Marcus Tennant. Ooh, we have a brother-sister combination today with Sydney Tennant. So Marcus is in Mrs. Cresswell's class, and he's been an amazing role model for his classmates so far this year. He's always following directions, always being kind, always working hard on his independent work in class. That is a TVEC for you, Marcus. Isabel McGowan in Mrs. A's class. Isabel is a good listener every day, helps to stack the chairs at the end of the day. So here you go, Isabel. And then we also have Kane Silverthorne in Mrs. A's class. He comes in class A day every day, helps stack the chairs at the end of the day, and works hard in classroom. So Isabel and Kane both have TVECs from Mrs. A's class. Axel Bennett in Mrs. King's class. Axel got right to work on his reading without any help. He completed his writing and followed directions. What a great student. Axel, you're having a really great year so far. Very proud of you. There's a TVEC to you, Axel. Zoe Bensinger from Mrs. Berger's class. Zoe has always tries her best, never gives up. Keep up the great work. I'm going to do a flip one for you, Zoe. Here we go. All right, there we go. So we have Hannah Grosso, fabulous role model. Is helpful to her teacher and peers and participates, raises her hand. So there's a flip one to you, Hannah. Wesley Thompson, Mrs. Sanger via Mrs. Davies. Wesley's always respectful of the cafeteria aides, listens when they ring the bell. Great job, Wesley. I'm going to try an overhead flip. All right, here we go. We have Chloe Wheeler from Mrs. Trost in Mrs. Sanger's class. Each morning, Chloe helps a kindergarten student get off the bus, helps her get her day started with a smile. Thanks for helping, being a great helper and a great role model, Chloe. Awesome job being an older student and helping out those younger students, especially when they're not sure of something or need help getting somewhere. Awesome job, Chloe. That's a TVEC for you. All right, next up, Dalton McGeady in Mrs. Sherlin's class. Dalton was very helpful to our substitute teacher with the daily routines. Thank you for being kind, especially when I was not here, from Mrs. Sherlin. There you go, TVEC to you, Dalton. Nice job helping out a substitute. Selena Kupu-Klein in Mrs. Sherlin's class. Selena has been a kind, helpful buddy and instant bestie to our newest classmate. Thank you for taking care of your friends in and out of our classroom. Awesome job, Selena. Elizabeth Tucker, Miss Thieves class. Elizabeth does an excellent job staying on task. She follows directions, great classroom helper, kind to all, and takes pride in her work. That is a TVEC to you, Elizabeth. We have Aiden McBride in Mrs. Burns' class. Aiden always respects others, works hard in first grade. TVEC to you, Aiden. Next up, Emery Gehrig, Mrs. Haven's class. Emery is kind, helpful, and wonderful listener. That's a TVEC to you, Emery. Caleb Lewis from Mrs. Havens, an amazing artist is Caleb. He's been working hard on his drawing skills, so awesome job, Caleb. That's a TVEC to you. And Kendall Zimmerman from Miss McComb. Kendall's been working really hard, always participating in whole group lessons. Again, I always say it's important to participate and be engaged in your learning, and that's how you'll be successful in school. So that's a TVEC to you, Kendall. All right, and we have a couple ones here as well. These are from Miss McHugh. We have Claire Byrne from Mrs. Rotoloni's class, always doing her job and giving her best effort in PV. Claire, that's a TVEC to you. Luke Wagner from Mrs. Weaver's class, cleaned up equipment for his entire group without being asked. That is a TVEC to you. Great job, Luke. And Connor Ousley in Mrs. Gruen's class, always looking out for classmates that need help. Connor, TVEC to you. Great job, everyone. All right, I'm going to go because I know it's the end of the day, and guess what? I got to get home because the Phillies are going to be on in a little bit. Looks like a little bit after 4, something like that. So go Phillies. I hope you guys have a great afternoon, and we'll see you tomorrow. All right, take care, everybody.